2, 1.
So we did a series Bible, and it's online on Tumblr, so we get the bonus. It involves voyeurism, because Jacob Parsons, one of the characters that's described, is a voyeur, and that also is the creeper card, because he's a voyeur and a creeper who watches his neighbor. And it involves a turn for the worse, because in the description of Ed Parsons' childhood, it talks about how his father's job took a turn for the worse. It involves blindsiding, because Ed Parsons was blindsided when he found out that his mother was having a lesbian affair. It involves Horse eBooks, because one of the characters is the creator of Horse eBooks. It involves greed, because we talk about the fact that the main character is really only doing his job for the money. It involves medical issues, because the character Jay Maynard is a veteran with medical issues. It involves someone named Jay Maynard, because there's a character named Jay Maynard. It involves Curiosity Killed the Cat, because of Ed Parsons spying on his mother and finding out that she is having the lesbian affair. There's also a spying card. Whatever. Cycle of Revenge, because it involves the homophobes protesting someone, and it mentions, like, the brick that gets thrown through their window by other people. So it was revenge on their revenge. Involves a foreign audience, because one of the characters, Robbie, works on, like, K-pop stuff. That's his job, and so that's for a foreign audience. Involves an elusive quarry. One being an elusive quarry in the figurative sense, in terms of trying to figure out why Josh is doing just taking this case, and then there's also a literal elusive quarry, in terms of Ed Parsons' like father, like there was like he worked at a quarry, but it was like elusive. It involves blindness, because of the fact that Josh is blind to the fact that Robbie is depressed. Involves magical protection, because the Parsons family believes that the religious rituals they perform gives them magical protection. Involves coins, because Jay Maynard's character is a coin collector. Involves betrayal. Ed Parsons feels betrayed when he finds out his mother is engaging in a lesbian affair. Involves the grind, because it talks about the fact that Josh suffers through the daily grind. It regards divorce, because Josh's parents got divorced, and it talks about that when describing his childhood. It involves an inflated object, because the character Monica has an inflated neck pillow because she has neck problems. It involves a window, because it talks about the fact that Parsons got their window blown out by those people who threw a brick through it. It involves both, where is it? It involves a hunter and wildlife, because it talks about the fact that Jay Maynard used to hunt elk. It involves age and youth, because we're tracking these people's childhood. It involves freeways, because it talks about the fact that, like, Josh has a long commute on the freeway every day. It involves a mask, because it talks about the fact that, because Josh, like, can't have a, like, picture of himself and Robbie in his office, he has a Korean mask that Robbie gave him, as a reminder of him. It involves racing, because, Robbie is addicted to gambling, and so he goes to horse races. It involves body language, because it describes the character's body language, specifically Josh's, I believe. It involves Lost in a Strange Land, because it talks about Jay Maynard having PTSD flashbacks and feeling like he's lost in Afghanistan again. It involves more than one historical period, because we're tracing the histories of each of these characters, and so we talk about them through different times. It involves x-rays, because it talks about Jay Maynard having to get x-rays because of his medical problems. It involves spying. Found the spying card. That was Ed Parsons spying on his mother and finding out that she had had the lesbian affair. Involves Ed Parsons, who is a paranoid homophobe. Involves unrequited love, because Jay Maynard has a crush on his nurse. I think her name was Ruth. It involves knowledge, in terms of, like, people hiding knowledge from each other, like Ed Parsons' mom having a lesbian affair and people finding out new bits of knowledge. And it involves also, like, the knowledge that they have about the law. For example, like Chris Parsons and how much he knows. It involves dust, because there's this one line about how, like, Robbie, I think it was Robbie, yeah, moved out to the Midwest and only found, like, dust and disappointment. And then Parsons' family home is also pretty dusty and dirty. It involves a ritual, because the Parsons family are highly religious and engaged in a lot of religious rituals.
Woo! Nice.